Hey guys, welcome back to another PS2 Memories video. Here we are taking a look at a quirky racing game by the name of Cocoto Kart Racer that was released for the PS2 back in 2005. The game also got a re-release on the Nintendo Wii back in 2011, and essentially this is an arcade kart style racer that is pretty much a Mario Kart style clone. It's also very similar to other racing games, very similar to the likes of Crash Team Racing if you're familiar with those type of racing games, where you play as a number of quirky and very unusual characters, each with their own unique characteristics and abilities and vehicles to choose from. And your goal is to complete your way through the racing tournaments in order to upgrade your characters, win and upgrade power-ups, even use power-ups throughout the races, and unlock different tracks and hidden extras throughout the game. The game does offer up several modes, from the championship to time challenge and even multiplayer mode, where you can access up to 4 players at a given time if you have the multi-tap accessory. And the game provides a number of different various locations in order to play through, anything from like a lava based volcano to even jungles, paradise islands and other unusual locations that really suit the theme and aesthetic of the game. So what's the overall gameplay like in the game itself? Well, as you're racing through the game, very like Mario Kart, if you have played those games on the likes of the Super Nintendo, Wii, Mario Kart 64 and the like, your goal is pretty much to win the races, but you have to utilise power-ups to try and stay ahead of first place. But just note that the AI opponents can also use power-ups to take you out of the equation if they want to. So you do have to try and use a lot of skill, and a lot of it is very luck based in order to win races. The one thing to note about this game, like a lot of these games, is that they can be quite difficult to master, as even though your driving skills may be up to par, but a lot of it does require a bit of luck to hope that a lot of the other opponents don't try to take you out as often, they don't use as many power-ups, because if they do they can make it very very difficult. Even throughout the course of the races, even from my own experience of playing it, you will win a few races after a few attempts, but then you will always get to a point where 1 or 2 races will be very difficult. But it just really primarily is focused around luck. But after a few attempts you'll get a layout and a feel for the tracks, and you'll know how to approach them. So the graphics in the game as well are quite good as well. They're very cartoony and they really do suit the style and vibe that the game is trying to go for. And it is very very similar of all those other car type racers that you would have seen on other consoles. Even with the likes of Bomberman Kart DX, which I have done a video on before, so I'll make sure to leave a link to that down in the description. As when you've played a lot of these games, they are all very similar. They just usually have a lot of kind of different aesthetics. Like even some of the level designs in a lot of those kart racing games do be very very similar in terms of what they offer, or even with the challenges, traps and so forth that are in them. Usually the only real main differences with a lot of them is the likes of the characters and even the vehicles and even the handling physics of the cars themselves, which is another thing to point out. Even with this game, the handling physics in this game are actually not too bad when you compare them to other games. I mentioned in my previous video with Bomberman Kart that sometimes the handling wasn't as well refined compared to other racers that I had played in the past, as I found that the control system could be quite sluggish, which definitely had a negative effect when you were trying to win races at times. But you don't really have that issue with this as such. The only real issue with this game is the fact is that the difficulty level is slightly higher due to the AI components, where they can be a bit cumbersome and they can be definitely frustrating to try and win a race against, because it's very very hard to build up any sort of a lead. It really just requires on skill and a lot of luck to be able to gain any sort of an advantage. But after a few attempts you will find that some races will be a lot easier than others once you're able to get used to the likes of the tracks and the layouts. But even at that, if you do get lucky with the power-up drops as well, so they can work in your advantage too. But it really all boils down to luck. That's the one thing about these games, they are all luck based. But overall, from having spent time playing it and playing through the campaign, the game is actually quite fun to play. And it's funny because it's something that I, even myself personally, I would never have even really seen before and I knew nothing about. So having experienced it, it's actually not a bad game to play, and it is worth a playthrough if you're into these type of games. If you are into this type of racing game where you're into likes of the cartoony style elements and graphics, even with the multiplayer aspects of it, there's no harm in giving this one a go. Again, it's very similar to a lot of those other games as I've mentioned, but you'll still have a lot of fun with it. So it is worth a try just for that experience alone, and even just to compare them to other games. And I'd love to know your thoughts on this if you have played it yourself, and if so, what do you think of it? Do you enjoy these type of racing games? And do you like the multiplayer elements in them, or maybe not so much? Be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of these unique style videos where I do provide other reviews and gameplay style videos of similar games that play very like this game, then be sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be updated when future videos are released. And also be sure to check out this video here on the screen where I do provide gameplay of this game so that you can see it in action. So be sure to check those videos out, and I will see you all over in the next one.